For 2 years, I have fought illness after illness after illness. When something big happens, 2 big things happen, and my body just said, F this, and crashed. I was ready to come back on Monday. Voice didn't cooperate. Body didn't cooperate. I mean, it was just all kinds of upside down. I'm still not 100% yet, but I'm a lot better than I was 48 hours ago. Trust me when I say that. Welcome, folks. Snowman in the Morning is back. We are presented by Full Armor Worldwide. Different services for different needs. Full Armor. And also by Cleaver Supplements, pure supplements for when genetics are just not enough. A lot to get to in the short time that I have with you. The mess that is the Chicago Bears. The race that is the Chicago Cubs. Why did I just put that in the same sentence? Because my producer told me to. Okay, fine. Christy Lubeck and Richard Garcia are my producers. Thank you all very much, along with Mark Kelly. And we're going to get this together, folks. Trust me, we're going to get this together. But I want to start with a tribute that I was scheduled to do Monday, but I didn't get a chance to because my voice and my body just wouldn't cooperate. Does the name Bobby the Brain Heenan mean anything to you guys? Yeah, for you old school wrestling fans, meant a lot to me too. Well, unfortunately, we lost a hero by that name. He died in Largo, Florida, at his home, surrounded by his family. He was born November 1st, 1944, in my hometown, Chicago, Illinois. And he is the author of Chair Shots and Other Obstacles, Winning Life's Wrestling Matches. Throat cancer finally got him. The throat cancer was in remission, but there were a lot of complications around it. But I want to play something. I want to play a couple things that just identified the man that is Bobby the Brain Heenan. Everyone knows who watched old school wrestling back in the day, his confrontations with Gorilla Monsoon were legendary. But I want y'all to listen to this. Bobby Heenan talks about Gorilla Monsoon, and this should identify the friendship those two shared.
Oh, one of the best friends I've ever had in my life. Just an honest, decent man. Meant no harm to anyone. But he was honest with you. He'd tell you if there was something wrong. He'd tell you if you were the shift or weren't. But he was just a good man.
Some of the skits you did on primetime were just hilarious. I mean,
never rehearsed anything.
All ad lib.
We would sit down. What are we going to do tonight? This is the Halloween show. Let's do this and that. That's how it went. And not that we were that good. We just were that good with each other.
Right.
I mean, it really was fun. It was fun. That was the most thing about it. It was fun. It wasn't a job. I look forward to going to be with him. Yeah.
Any of the skits stand out the most? I mean, you guys went to Vegas one time.
I remember Halloween when we did, where Monsoon wore a gorilla mask the whole time and had a tux on and gorilla hands. At the end of the show, we noticed that a cameraman was about the same size as him. So I said, Gino, switch with the guy. So the cameraman came and sat down, put the mask on, put Gino's tux on, had the hands. And as we're wrapping up the show, Monsoon walks in with his bag and everything. He says, I'm sorry I'm late. Who have I been with for 2 hours?
Right.
But just stuff like that we used to do. And he was the best.
I remember we went to the movie set. And I think it was the Western movie
set. He blew up with the dynamite?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It took us 2 days. Old Tucson.
Yeah, it was great.
He was mad because I was doing a Super Bowl. He wanted to watch the game.
Right.
He didn't want to be there doing that.
Right. Did anything ever go wrong with the skits? I mean, when you went to Vegas with the live people?
Nah.
Everything was...
Nothing. It didn't matter. See, when you're the brain, that's the best gimmick in the world because people expect you to be stupid. So no matter what you do, if it screws up, it works. If it works fine, it works. You can't fail being the brain if you don't care. But a lot of guys care about their image. How am I going to look? Like Monsoon said, if you're in this for anything more than money, you're a fool.
Did you still stay in contact with, obviously Gorilla Monsoon you still stayed in contact with,
until he passed away. Until the day he died, his daughter called me the night before he died and said he was checking out of the hospital. He wanted to come home. And then she called me in the morning and she said he was gone.
I think he was there.
Yeah, because we knew Carl. And Victor is kind of, I took Victor we drove him to the hospital and not to work.
Yeah.
In London.
And Valerie called me that night and told me. And he was just a great guy. Never had a bad time with him.
Funny story, the first time we ever went to his house to drop him off, we were sitting and I guess his wife was getting us iced tea or something. We're sitting there and Carl was doing the yard work and he's wearing this pink hat. And he just walked past the window and popped in with a weed whacker. We're just sitting there like, it's the funniest thing.
His bedroom was Oriental, with furniture and stuff.
Right.
He told me, he says, she should have married Fuji.
Great.
The last time, they threw me out of Raw.
Right.
Where was it? New York, West, where Scullin lives.
I'm not sure.
It's right outside of LaGuardia there.
White
Plains. And they threw me out that night. And Vince said, how do you want to leave? I said, well, have Gino throw me out. I said, I'll have a bag that I'll have like lamps in it, and I'll have towels and ashtrays, everything that Weasel would steal. So Patterson said, why don't you have bras and panties? I said, well, Pat, when you and I packed for the road, I think we packed differently.
Yeah.
So Gino threw me out that night, and then we got in the car. We went back to LaGuardia to the hotel. We got in the elevator. We got off on the floor together, same floor. I said, well, this is it. We shook hands, and I went to my room, and my room was a basket of fruit. So I called him. I said, hey, you big ape, I got bananas here. He said, okay. So he came down the hall, and I gave it to him. We cried for an hour in the hall.
How...
Real Monsoon, how'd you get along with him?
I'm sorry. How can you go wrong with that? I sat and I listened to that over and over and over again. And I knew I was going to play that piece. And I cried every time I heard it. I cried even more when I heard this when watching an episode of WCW Monday Nitro.
Gorilla will be sadly missed. He was one big tough man. He was a decent, honest man. And we're all going to miss him very much. And you know the pearly gates in heaven? Yeah. It's now going to be called the gorilla position. Goodbye, my friend.
Bobby the Brain Heenan dead at the age of 72. Same age as my dad when he passed away. Well, you can't go wrong with men like that. One of his famous quotes, I know all about cheating. I've had 6 very unsuccessful marriages. Well, he only had one in real life, and that was Cynthia Jean. And again, it was throat cancer that got him. And people worry about that with me. I'm not worried about it. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, then it wasn't my. If it doesn't, then it's not my time. Given name was Raymond Lewis Heenan. As I said, he was born in Chicago. He died in Largo, Florida. And I hated this guy when he was on the air. But listening to that piece and listening to more stories about him, he knew what his role was. He absolutely knew what his role was. And he played it to the hilt. He was active in the World Wrestling Association, the American Wrestling Association, the World Wrestling Federation as a manager and as a commentator, and then World Championship Wrestling until 2000. And I'm reading this piece here. Although on screen they were often at odds, Heenan was actually very close with his WWF broadcast partner, Gorilla Monsoon. He was also close friends with Gene Okerlund, various other people involved in the business, including Jim Ross, on-screen adversary Hulk Hogan, and Ted DiBiase noted their close friendships with Heenan on their Twitter accounts after he died. He announced that he had throat cancer in 2002. He later recovered but lost a great deal of weight, dramatically changing his appearance and his voice. Following early treatments, he spoke in a soft, high-pitched tone, which contrasts noticeably with the tone fans were accustomed to hearing used as a color commentator. He went from 231 to 190 or even less in terms of weight. December 2007, he had reconstructive surgery on his jaw. After the first was unsuccessful, he was placed in a medically induced coma and was slowly brought out. Second half of January 2008, he had come out of his medically induced coma, though not yet able to speak. He was communicating with his eyes. He had several more surgeries to reconstruct facial features. By October 2008, it was reported that he was able to speak a few sentences before getting tired. In February 2009, it was reported he was still relearning how to speak clearly and out of the hospital. September 17, 2017. Well, before that, let me read this note. According to an interview given by Jim Ross in October 2013, Heenan was hanging in there, continuing to have trouble speaking as a result of tongue cancer treatments. In April 2014, while in Las Vegas to attend a wedding, he fell out of bed and broke a shoulder. 16, he fell again and broke a hip. And then the final note, on September 17, 2017, he died at the age of 72 while surrounded by his family at his home in Largo, Florida. Cause of death, organ failure due to complications from the throat cancer, from which he had been in remission since 2004. Bobby the Brain, although you were a heel on camera, we all love you for the way that you brought your character to life. For the way that you got the fans to buy into your character and give the proper negative heat that came with your character. Your friendships, as I read more and more, are legendary. That piece I played this morning was just a fitting tribute to the man that you were. I'm trying not to cry because he was one of my favorites. Heel or face, he was always one of my favorites. A couple of his favorite terms that I love using were humanoids and ham and eggers. Well, us humanoids and ham and eggers miss you, Bobby the Brain. And we are going to miss you. Us humanoids and ham and eggers recognized you for who you were. And we loved it every time that you came on air. It will not be the same without you. Rest in peace, my friend. Back in the deuce.
Welcome to the Butcher Box. Our beef is exactly the way that nature intended. 100% grass-fed and grass-finished, antibiotic and hormone-free, and never taken from feedlots. Just 100% healthy meat. We offer 2 to 5 day delivery to the contiguous 48 states. The meat is flash frozen at the peak of freshness, packed with dry ice, and shipped directly to your door. The beef is sourced from a collection of small grass-fed farms. It is of the utmost quality and tastes incredible. Our steak won a blind taste test cook-off with the Today Show in 2015. So for 100% grass-fed and grass-finished beef, organic chicken, and heritage-bred pork delivered for free on your schedule for less than $6 per meal, visit arenasportsnet.com and click on the Butcher Box logo, and if you do so, you will receive 10% off your first order, or give Butcher Box a call at 855-981-8568.
This is Flieger and Briggs from the Asylum Sports Show, and you're listening to Arena Sports Net, where every fan has a voice and every team has a fan.
Programming on Arena Sports Net is fueled by Cleaver Supplements. Hey folks, summer is approaching and it's time to get your body kick-started. With that in mind, reach for the supplements that will do just that. Cleaver Supplements. They provide natural supplements to help you lose weight, get stronger, and have greater workouts, all to propel you towards your summer body and mind goals. Visit cleaversupplements.com today and get on the best track to a healthier you. Cleaver Supplements. Pure supplements for when genetics are just not enough.
This is Snowman in the Morning, where true sports talk lives.
Hello, baby.
I keep forgetting I put that in there. Doggone it. 17 after the hour, and what's going to be an abbreviated version of Snowman in the Morning. We thank you for joining us. I will say I have changed locations. I won't say where yet, because we're still getting a few things in place here in our new studio. Okay, time for the opening statement, and it goes like this. Craig Carton has resigned as the co-host of Boomer and Carton. I was on that show for a segment back in 2012, and the reason is because of fraud charges. He was on the show for 10 years, and he was a co-conspirator and covered personal debts at casinos, and both players could face up to 20 years in prison. How stupid can you be? You were the host of one of the most popular sports talk shows, and you get into this much trouble? You've been getting away with it for 10 years? Oh, my goodness. And as it turns out, not many people like the guy in the first place. Oh, Lordy. Again, I just go back to the question I said before. How can you be so stupid in covering your personal... And now, as I'm catching up with everything, I'm looking at all this on the fly, okay? Craig Carton, as I mentioned, was a host of Boomer and Carton on WFAN in New York, says I am not guilty. Not guilty? He professed confidence he will be found not guilty of the accusations against him in the statement while addressing his endless stream of vitriol being hurled my way, close quote. He thanked his family, friends, and radio partner Boomer Esiason for their support, saying he will eventually be back stronger than ever. What I'm about to read to you is from NJ.com. His full statements are these. I want to thank my family, friends, and fans, especially Boomer, for the outpouring of public and private support I've received over the past few days. As you can imagine, it's been incredibly hard to be silent when there is an endless stream of vitriol being hurled my way. You know something? I can actually identify with that. But I'm confident that when the facts come out, you'll see that I'm not guilty of these charges. My fight has only just begun, and I know when this strange episode is over, I'll be back stronger than ever. Thank you all for all the kind words and good wishes as I continue on with one of the greatest battles of my life, and this will teach me a lesson not to throw insult when all the facts haven't been revealed, And in this case, they haven't. He was arrested, Carton was, September 6th, with helping to run a multi-million-dollar Ponzi scheme in order to pay off gambling debts. FBI agents nabbed him at his New York home before he could travel to work for that day's Boomer and Carton program. Carton's attorney previously said in a statement, Carton is a victim who was deceived, manipulated, and used. Wow. I just got out of bed 2 days ago. I just got out of bed earlier, so I'm learning all this on the fly. And I'm going to change my opening statement I posed the question, how can you be so stupid? I should not have said that, and I apologize, because I don't know all the facts, and I'm reading a couple of them here as we go along. Mike Francesa is unbelievable with his support. The government and the statement reads as follows. Boy, this is confusing. The government's allegation against Craig Carton demonstrated gross misunderstanding of what happened. Craig is a victim who was deceived, manipulated, and used by individuals seeking to gather assets for their own fraudulent schemes. Now this is getting interesting. Craig is a good man devoted to his family with a long-time personal commitment to giving back to his community. Through TikTok Stop, a foundation focused on funding Tourette syndrome research and programs for children who have the syndrome, Craig has sponsored a $340,000 study by the University of Tennessee Dental School to develop a revolutionary new treatment for patients with mild to moderate Tourette syndrome. Currently in review with the FDA, the appliance called the Tick Guard has shown an average tick reduction, both motor and vocal, of 39%. Every year, the foundation also fully funds Camp Carton, a sleepaway summer camp serving children ages 9 to 13 years old that are suffering from Tourette's. So far, 175 children attended the camp. A little more about Mr. Carton. Before arriving at WFAN in 2007 to team with former quarterback Boomer Esiason, he was the host of a New Jersey 101.5 at a New Jersey station 101.5, I beg your pardon. Carton has been suspended indefinitely by the Fan. He and Michael Wright of Upper Saddle River are charged with securities fraud, wire fraud, and conspiracy, the U.S. Attorney's Office for New York Southern District said in a Wednesday statement. Holy cow! This is wild. Now, I'm still coming from NJ.com, and I'm reading this. A New York strip club exec from Upper Saddle River was arrested along with sports radio host Craig Carton on federal charges involving an alleged, that should have taught me, $2 million ticket Ponzi scheme. Carton was cuffed by Manhattan FBI agents near his apartment about 4:15 a.m. Michael Wright was arrested at his home at about 6 a.m. for his alleged involvement in the same scheme. They both were due to appear in a federal court in Manhattan on charges of conspiracy to commit securities fraud and wire fraud and securities fraud. Say that 3 times fast. Wright bought his Upper Saddle River home in June 2013, according to property records, for $1.9 million, and pays $25,000 plus in annual property taxes. This is crazy. Well, I hope instead of me asking how can you be so stupid in getting involved in a Ponzi scheme, I'm going to change my statement and say, I hope all the facts come out in Carton's favor. I'm going to lend my support on this one until I see different. And right now, I haven't seen anything to the contrary that he was involved in this. I got a lot more research to do, yes. A lot. My producer, Rich Garcia, is going to help me. But as it stands, he is charged with being a co-conspirator of a Ponzi scheme. And if guilty, he could face up to 20 years in prison. Well, I'm going to do my own research on this. I'm going to continue to follow this story. And we will see what happens. And that concludes my opening statement. A couple of notes for you. The Dolphins acquired Stephon Anthony from the Saints in exchange for a 2018 fifth-round pick. They also suspended Lawrence Timmons indefinitely. It was not team or football related. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lordy. I got to take a breathe. I got to take a breather. I got more on this situation called the Bad News Bears coming in a few minutes. Whew. I got to breathe. I'll be right back.
Welcome to the Butcher Box. Our beef is exactly the way that nature intended. 100% grass-fed and grass-finished, antibiotic and hormone-free, and never taken from feedlots. Just 100% healthy meat. We offer 2 to 5 day delivery to the contiguous 48 states. The meat is flash frozen at the peak of freshness, packed with dry ice, and shipped directly to your door. The beef is sourced from a collection of small grass-fed farms. It is of the utmost quality and tastes incredible. Our steak won a blind taste test cook-off with the Today Show in 2015. So for 100% grass-fed and grass-finished beef, organic chicken, and heritage-bred pork delivered for free on your schedule for less than $6 per meal, visit arenasportsnet.com and click on the Butcher Box logo, and if you do so, you will receive 10% off your first order, or give Butcher Box a call at 855-981-8568.
You don't need 4 letters to tell you what's going on in the world of sports. No, no, no. You only need 3. ASN, Arena Sports Network, where every team has a fan. This is Snowman in the Morning, where true sports talk lives.
Hadouken! That's a spicy meatball!
That's a spicy meatball. About halfway home in this express edition of Snowman in the Morning. This portion presented by Cleaver Supplements. Pure supplements from when genetics are just not enough. Now, I have a question. And my question is to the fans and supporters of the Chicago Bears. And the question is very intelligent. It's very thought-provoking. And it's very, very, I will say this as calm as I can. What in the hell were y'all thinking when it came to signing Mike Glennon? Why didn't y'all give Mitch Trubisky the ball in week 1? Mitch Trubisky would have given y'all a better chance to execute that final drive against Atlanta. He'd sure as hell would have given you a better chance against Tampa Bay to get some points. But this Chicago Bears team is being rendered irrelevant. Absolutely irrelevant. And the more irrelevant they become, the more of a laughingstock they will be. I will tell y'all the exact game. The exact game that made the Chicago Bears that brought the Chicago Bears into mired in mediocrity, and they will never recover unless the organization grows a set and gets rid of the people that need to go. The scene of the crime was Soldier Field. The opponent was the Green Bay Packers. Now, what does that have to do with this situation? They were playing for the NFC Championship. They had the Packers in their house. Let me say that again. They had the Packers in their house. They should not have had to deal with the Packers in the first place because the Bears had a chance on the final game of the 2010 season to knock them out of the playoffs. Period. And unfortunately, on January 23rd, 2011, that date will be the day that the Bears became mediocre for good. As I said, until they grow a set and get rid of the people that need to be gotten rid of and make the hard decisions like giving Mitch Trubisky the ball at the top of the season. But knowing the Bears, they will never let Trubisky see the season because he's a rookie and that he needs to develop. Well, the best way to develop somebody is to let him play. Period. Why do I bring up the 2010 NFC Championship that the Bears had in their house at Soldier Field with the Packers in the house and a chance to show America they were indeed the monsters of the Midway? Because on that day, Aaron Rodgers, as he so often has against the Bears, took the opening drive, marched the Packers right downfield in 7 plays, put it in the end zone for a touchdown, and eventually kicked the Bears in the nuts. And they never recovered. The Bears lost all their nerve, their fight, and everything else that made them who they are because they let Aaron Rodgers kick him in the mouth on the opening drive of the game, and they never responded. This was at the height of the conspiracy that is Jay Cutler. And yeah, I said conspiracy because y'all should have never signed him. What did Jay Cutler do for the Bears in 9 years? Not a doggone thing. Jay Cutler in 9 seasons has as many postseason wins as Tony Romo in 13. 1. Well, Romo got a second victory, but I'll discuss that later. The Bears got only 1 victory under Jay Cutler, and it occurred against the Seattle Seahawks. That should tell you everything you need to know right there. And they let Aaron Rodgers get away on New Year's Day 2011 in Lambeau Field. They beat them 10-3 on a fourth quarter Aaron Rodgers touchdown specialty. And then they let the Packers come to Soldier Field and knock them around. Y'all remember the B.J. Raji interception for a touchdown and the touchdown dance he did that basically sealed the game? Yeah, that should tell you everything you need to know. And this past Sunday, they looked awful. The Buccaneers dominated the Bears on both sides of the game. John Fox says Trubisky has the it factor. Well, John Fox, I'm calling you out. If Trubisky has the it factor, why won't you let him play? More to the point, why won't you let him start? Trubisky should have been the Bears starter, and the bad part is, to get Trubisky, the Bears traded 2 draft picks to the 49ers, basically got fleeced on draft day to get the person they wanted all along. That's stupid. Trubisky should have been the starter, period. He outplayed Mike Glennon, period. and he still is not starting and probably won't. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But where else does the team struggle, especially when it comes to the Bears? You know what they haven't had since their Super Bowl year of 85? How about a consistent offensive line? More to the point, how about some people to throw the ball to? You're actually going to count on an off-injured Victor Cruz? I wouldn't. I wouldn't trust Victor Cruz as far as I can throw to him. And who else do you have to throw to? You let Alshon Jeffrey walk. The Chicago Bears since 2010 have been a disaster. And that's because they didn't show enough of a fight to get back in the NFC Championship game. Now, a lot of people are going to ask me, how can you describe one game as the fault for the Bears being this bad? You know why I can describe that? I watched the game. I watched with ease how Aaron Rodgers drove them down the field on the first drive of the game. And what did the Bears do after that? 3 and out. 3 separate times. 3 separate times. You know, my 49ers may not be doing a hell of a lot better, and I realize that, and I know that. But at least they're pointed in the right direction and fixing the problems that's been with the 49ers for the past 4 years. 2 coaching turnarounds in 3 seasons. That's frickin' unacceptable. At the same time, they're addressing what needs to be addressed. One of the problems they have is the same problem the Bears have, and that's a quarterback, or lack thereof. I mean, I know Brian Hoyer's not a household name, but he'll never be a household name until he learns to play the position. And one miracle win as a member of the Cleveland Browns against the Minnesota Vikings on the road will not make you a household name. By God, it's the Minnesota Vikings. Who bleeping cares? And against that same team whose kicker missed a 27-yard field goal, shanked the hell out of it. You know, I'm reminded of the words of my good buddy Dave Kaplan. They need to chart a football course because at the end of the day, it is a football team. You need to get some football minds in the management positions. But they'll never do that. The McCaskies will never get off their asses and actually let go of the team. And I understand the tradition, but by God, build a winning tradition again, will you? Mike Ditka's not coming back anytime soon. Jim McMahon's not coming back anytime soon. Matt Suey, Dennis McKinnon. I'm sorry, all those guys are not coming back anytime soon. So you got to get some people in place that actually know football, man. I'm sorry, I've said this for several years, and I will continue to say it until it changes. The Bears are one of the most mediocre teams in the NFL, and they will continue to be reminded of what happened January 23rd, 2011, when the Green Bay Packers knocked them in the mouth and kicked them in the nuts and stole the NFC Championship from them because they came in confident. The Bears played scared on that day, and they've been playing that way ever since. On 2 separate occasions since then, they had a chance to clinch a playoff berth and got knocked out. Does that tell you anything, Bear fans? They will be in this rut and will continue to be in this rut until the management changes hands to some people that actually want to build a winning culture. Not just a winning team, a winning culture. It will never, ever change until that happens. Period. Couple more notes for you. The Cubs have reduced their magic number to 9 after a 2-1 win over the Rays last night. Milwaukee's the team that's chasing them, but Milwaukee beat Pittsburgh 1-0, and they stay 3.5 back of the Cubs while the Cubs reach for their third straight division title. I beg your pardon. The Blackhawks opened their preseason with a 5-2 win over the Columbus Blue Jackets, and after being knocked out in the first round by a much better team, the Blackhawks appear to be very, very hungry. Let's just hope it carries from now until June. I'm being presumptuous, but I don't care. My closing statement when you come back.
Looking for future leaders we can trust and believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Illinois. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It begins by making their grades and being on time for practice. It includes learning to listen, following directions, accepting responsibility, being a good role model. And it's about respect for officials, opponents, the rules, and each other. The result? It transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. High school sports. There's so much more than just a game. This message presented by the Illinois High School Association and the Illinois Athletic Directors Association.
Snowman in the Morning is fueled by Cleaver Supplements. Hey folks, and it's time to get your body kick-started. With that in mind, reach for the supplements that will do just that. Cleaver Supplements. Cleaver Supplements provide natural supplements to help you lose weight, get stronger, and have greater workouts, all to propel you towards your summer body and mind goals. Visit cleaversupplements.com today and get on the best track to a healthier you. Cleaver Supplements, pure supplements when genetics just aren't enough. This is Snowman in the Morning, where true sports talk lives.
Next! Excuse me, bitch! Are you kidding me? What?
Closing statement on the way. Want to thank everybody that has tuned us in for this extremely short version of Snowman in the Morning. But I appreciate you guys. I'm just getting over fighting a cold and being ill, and didn't want to push things. Still a little winded, but I wanted to get this one in, and I'll be back tomorrow with another hour episode. In fact, it'll be an hour as I get myself better, get myself acclimated, and just get back in better shape. Now, here's my closing statement, and it goes like this. Don't let the butthurt brigades of the world knock you down. Don't let the butthurt brigades of the world knock you out. Because they'll try. Good Lord, they'll try. Well, they kept me silent for a long time because I wanted to be silent and work on some things. But sometimes you just get tired. And I got tired of quite a few things. Being silent is one of them. I started something right after I had gotten out of, after I had gotten out of the mental hospital dealing with depression. The term was spoken to me by my buddy Brandon Palmer. It's called manpowerment. I apologize for letting a few stupid people knock me off the mission. And I got knocked off the mission. Period. Not anymore. I'm more determined than ever to see this happen. Now, I explain why, but I'll do a private blog and explain why even further. But that's the point. Don't let anybody knock you off your mission. If you get knocked down, get back up. Especially men. Men have no choice but to get back up because that's what society has taught us. So let's use their lesson to our advantage and knock them in the ass. Period. There is no choice now but to get better. And that's a choice I take with me every day. Till tomorrow, when I got more stuff, especially on the Heisman chatter, which will probably kick off the show. You got some suggestions? Send them to me. Tweet them to me at SIT Morning and at Arena Sportsnet, which is where you can find us. Till tomorrow, have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, then they are not big enough. A few people should have learned that lesson. Snowman out.